Today on Moonstar, we watch the 6th episode of Sailor Moon titled, Protect the Melody of Love. Usagi plays Cupid. Sailor Moon Another Story, the series is also announced with a special preview at the end of today's episode. And of course, we share the rest of our interview with Chris Mayek.
Welcome back to another episode of Moonstar, a Sailor Moon podcast. Let's get these announcements out of the way. We have a lot to cover today. So, on today's episode, we discuss the 6th episode of Sailor Moon, another that was skipped by Deke during the original dubbing of the series. And we're announcing Sailor Moon Another Story, the series, which is available exclusively on our YouTube, Sunshine Farm Collectibles on YouTube. Sailor Moon Another Story, the series, is a equal parts goofy and serious adaptation of the Super Famicom / Super Nintendo game Sailor Moon Another Story, which, if you don't already know, Sailor Moon Another Story it's very similar to Final Fantasy. It's a turn-based RPG or JRPG made from Sailor Moon, and in the timeline it takes place between Sailor Moon S and Sailor Moon Super S. And just a general basic bare bones outline of the story is all of the past enemies are being revived by a new enemy, which turns out to be the opposite Senshi. So for each of the inner scouts and Serena, there is an opposite or opposito, as they translate it to Senshi. And they're not it's kind of like Dark Scouts, but it's not them. It's an entirely different person, you know. But anyway, so they're there to change destiny. They're from the future, and they're trying to give themselves a better world, essentially. And then Aspu is, feeding them a bunch of lies, and you get the idea. So anyway, we took that game, which is extremely fun, but also old and, has its issues. And we are turning that into a web series where you can just, if you don't want to play it or if you can't find it or whatever, just go watch that. It is funny, silly,
Sprite Team.
Irreverent, but also respects the show quite a lot. And we try to do things to punch up the delivery. We have different kinds of music in there, different clips, editing, all kinds of cool stuff. And I'm learning a lot making it. So I hope you guys check that out and enjoy it. If you are a drag fan, I think it's turning into my version of or Unha, however you want to say it, if you know that show, where it's my medium, right? I can do whatever I want with it. So there are some choices that were made for voice acting because all of the voices are AI / text-to-speech voices. None of them are real people. And we had very limited options. So we did our best with it. And I think it's ridiculous and it makes me laugh. So I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, enough about that. That's just sort of been what's been occupying my time while I've been stuck at home. I've not been feeling that great. I had a minor health issues, so we're recovering there. Have some follow-up later. But speaking of that, let's get into Scout vibes and Nega vibes. My Scout vibes this week go back to the Sailor Moon video game thing, where through this new project that I started, I unearthed this sort of treasure trove of all of these Sailor Moon video games that I forgot existed. And there is a ton of official ones that were never translated but have fan translations. But then there's also a ton of really high quality fan games of Sailor Moon. And I knew that this stuff was out there, but I haven't really looked at it in detail in almost over a decade, I guess. And it's just really interesting to me. So I'm excited to bring more of that to you guys through this show, through the website, through various means. But for right now, I'll just start by telling you about one of my favorites that I finally got working. It's called Super Moon Fighter X. And it is a game that was made exclusively in Japan by a team called, I can't remember. What is the team called? I'll insert it later, but by the team. So, Super Moon Fighter X. There were various versions. This was the final version. And it was created by a team in Japan called
Sprite Team.
Okay. And this is one of those old fighter games that you have to input combos to do the special moves. And there's, from what I've found so far, there's not really a place you can practice. So it makes it a little challenging because the level of the opponent, even on easy, is fairly high. And all you kids out there that think you are Super Smash Bros. Aficionados and you crush the world at fighting games, I challenge you to pick up Super Moon Fighter X and not like smash your face into the wall until you get the hang of it, because getting the combos to land is so challenging, but when they do, it's so rewarding, and the graphics are so cute and the animations are so well done. I love it. So I'm going to give you just a little like random audio from it. I'm going to give you just a little random audio from it. Maybe some of you have played this before, so hearing that could be interesting. Right now I'm watching Anne from Sailor Moon R fight Pretz? It's the Thunder one from Sailor Moon R, the sister. Pets. I never can say her name. The green-haired one. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, definitely go check that out. There are some old videos if you want to watch them on YouTube to get a view of the game before you take your time to dig it out of the internet. But I think if you like old school fighting games and if you like Sailor Moon, it is one of the best out there, in my opinion. All right, Nega Vibes. I already touched on it a little, but getting older means that you have to do super adult things, like take yourself to the doctor for things that are important, like testing and follow-ups, and sometimes when you get a scan, people are a little bit enthusiastic about you getting follow-ups. So I'll just say that. That's kind of what has been going on right now. So it's no big deal. I have no problem doing things like that for myself and even for my partner, but I don't have to be happy about it and I don't have to be enthusiastic about it. I can save all of that for things I enjoy, like doing this podcast, So that is my Nega Vibe this week, and I think it's time we get on with the show, because first up is going to be the listen through or the watch through, and then we're going to jump straight into the rest of that interview. I know you guys are going to want to hear the rest of our conversation. It was definitely a great time. And at the end, I'm going to play... I might give you a full episode from Sailor Moon Another Story, the series, because they're short. So, they're 5 minutes. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, let's go on with the show.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Sunshine Farm Collectibles is more than just a curated virtual shopping experience. In addition to providing a unique selection of vintage anime and video game collectible items, we also offer several services. Here are just a few of the services we offer.
Virtual music lessons. Whether it's for your own enrichment, or for your child, there's never been a better time to start virtual music lessons than now. Lesson options include piano, violin, viola, cello and voice. Lessons start at $30 per class. Discounts available for multi-class students.
Life coaching. Sometimes life puts more on our plate than we can handle, and we need an impartial party to help us sort through the mess and get to the good stuff. Sessions start at $50 per hour. Discounts available for bulk bookings. For more information about any of the services mentioned, or to see a full list of the services we offer, please visit our website. www.sunshinefarmcollectibles.com.
You are listening to Moonstar, a Sailor Moon podcast.
So this episode, I think I've maybe seen once in my life because it was left out of the original dub. So this might be mostly new for me. I barely remember this. So we're getting a kind of refresher about who Usagi is at this point. She's doing the thing where she talks about being a slut. I almost said slut. Talks about being a bit of a ditz and a crybaby. And all of that stuff, but she's still, a superhero. I love that combination. I don't know if it's, people who like to dissect things deeply might be like, how boring, but I don't care. Random thought, why does Queen Beryl sit in the right eye of the weird skull thingy? And what is in the left eye? Probably Queen Metalia, actually. Okay. This is a cassette tape, so not a VHS, which is what we watch usually off of, but a cassette tape, so it's the VHS equivalent for audio, or what we used before audio, CDs for the kids out there. And Queen Beryl and Jedi are watching while this weird cassette tape inside of her dark orb, I guess, drains the life out of these roses, which, by the way, are in, I think, a fugly vase. You might think it's aesthetic, but it's like brown with like a bunch of horns all over it. The roses look nice in it. Okay, the tape just popped up and out of her orb, which I guess is in, and there's bats this time coming with, because it's part of the Yoma, it's a bat Yoma. I kind of like this part in the beginning. It's a little unique where the Yoma talk to and interact a little bit with Queen Beryl / Jedi, and you get this sense that the Negaverse is this bigger, overreaching group, right? Kind of like, I don't know, organized crime, I guess, where Queen Beryl's at the top, then you have her 5 generals, and then all of these monsters under them actually are around the Negaverse, I guess, and they live there / whatever, and they all chat and talk and gossip, and I'm sure Queen Beryl's like the big bad boss or whatever. I don't know. I love thinking about that whole weird dynamic because it's never really explored in the anime that I know of. I'm curious if there's ever any depth into that in official Sailor Moon release of something like a manga or a game. I don't know. So there's a guy with flowers and he's going to this, I think it's the same place or a similar place to the talk radio thing, because it's like a radio or a recording booth maybe. Oh, it's a recording booth. Okay. So the idea is that all the music that's recorded in here, once they put this Negaverse tape through the thing, is going to be infused with this, I don't know, like evil bullshit, and I guess is going to, it's like copying a virus that steals energy. That's right. This is one of the smarter games they've had so far, to be honest. Also, this lady who is currently disguised as a human almost got caught, and then her hand did like a half I'm about to cut you thing where it turned evil and had these claws come out. It was pretty cool, but the rest of her was still human. Okay, back to weird trench coat with guy with glasses. He likes this lady who, I guess, I think she's his producer or something. Oh, it's her birthday, he got her flowers. He's all shy. Take my umbrella, it's the pink one. Of course, he won't, he would look really adorable with it, but I don't know if that's the vibe he's going for. I think the more I watch this version of the dub, the more I'm pretty sure that had I seen this first, I would have no problem with it. But I still think had I seen this first, watching the other dub would be like, this is amazing because of how ridiculous it is. I would enjoy it a lot. And I'd be like, because this to me is kind of like, if you want to compare Sailor Moon to ice cream, this is like your like really good vanilla bean, you know, where it's just like everything is sort of right on the money, exact translation, no wacky doodle voices. But then if you're like in the mood for a little flavor, you hit up the 90s stuff for some Wally. And, you know, Luna as a British lady and everything, which, you know, in my silly Sailor Moon Another Story series, she's Australian. Character choices. Oh, this guy is afraid that Usagi's gonna kill him? Why? Oh, he knows a monster's after him. How? Oh shit, he saw it. Oh, after he had the pink umbrella, she corners him in this alley. I mean, she's just a lady standing there and all these bats keep appearing, but if it was me at that, it was like sort of a twilight hour. Oh, and then she turned into a fucked up bat, so bat monster thing. Yeah, I'd be scared. He got away though. Good for him. Oh, he gave her his card and then just ran away. I wonder why he's like upset that she knows who he is. That's cute. We have to help him. Yeah, and it's a great chance to take a peek into the grown-up world. That's such a cute way to look at it. I love this weird pile of TVs in the dump that Jedi communicates with her on. That's so cool. It's like, I guess she's living here. I mean, it makes sense. She's a bat, right? She would be comfy there in her monster form. I wonder if there's something to like the Negaverse and being connected to electricity or lights or something. Because you know, like the tubes in old TVs, like the light, they're like basically tiny little light bulbs. Really tiny ones. A jazz club called 3030s. Luna giving her shit, like they'd never let you in. Turn me into a hot musician. Fair, I mean, yeah, if you're trying to go in there. Oh, there's a cute little music note background. She looks crazy. She has bright green hair, a little mini skirt, like black mini skirt. I think it's just like a bustier. It's like kind of maybe just a corset. I don't even know. And some boots. She's a little bit like hooker light for the 80s, like grunge hooker. I don't know. It's kind of amazing. The bright red jacket. This is okay. The more I'm looking at it, the more I'm into it. I love it. I like how they animated the guy playing piano, actually. She won't order alcohol and it keeps like throwing off the bartender. That's cute. And she has no idea that he's even bothered. She looks really cute. Yeah, it's one of those fashion things. The more you look at it. She's got some red highlights in the hair. Oh, piano guy escaped. I'll say the tone of this version is a little more adult, I think. And that's probably more true to the original, which is fine. So I kind of don't mind the tonal difference. It's sort of nice. She's really creepy. With all of her bats and this bright red behind her. Also, Serena / Usagi's adorable random I'm just out and about outfit in this one is so cute. Oh no, she took his tape away. Oh, I think he got it mixed in, the one they were trying to, that's why they haven't like just destroyed him, because they needed the tape. Understood. He drives like a maniac. I've like been in cars with people that drive like that before, and it is not cute. And they always say stuff like, oh, I haven't had an accident yet. And you're like, yeah, yet. I don't want to be here when that turns into the first one. He's so easily embarrassed. This guy is so cute. I kind of stan him. Even old guys like you have a right to fall in love. Thank you, I think. Correct response. This is the most awkward car ride. I think she looks so cool with her hair blowing in the wind though. Oh my gosh. I think that her just getting in the car with this adult man is possibly why they didn't put it in the original dub that was geared specifically towards kids, because they probably didn't want us thinking that it's safe to do that in any situation. Makes sense. Okay, so all the people at the recording booth are all knocked out by these bats, I guess. Luna got the tape out of her hand. I love when Luna gets involved. There's something sort of pure about this first set, I guess. I'm sure we're coming up in a couple when she meets Amy, but where she's just totally on her own and having to figure it all out. There's something really, really charming about this little arc, I guess, in the series. This is a cool Yoma. I gotta give it to him. The design is great. She hasn't transformed. Oh, because she doesn't want people to see she's Sailor Moon, of course. Oh, she throws the tape up to distract them. That's smart. Oh, well, yeah, to help get rid of the... This is such an intense battle. Like, this lady almost gets her neck stabbed. Serena hasn't even transformed yet. She's throwing tapes in the air. Luna just smashed it with her little paw. This is lit. Okay, now she's finally transforming. Okay, she did like half of this battle just as herself. I kind of live for that. Her transformation really does look great here, though, on these, like, with the refreshed graphics. I don't know. I think they must have done something to brighten them up. I don't know how they do that. I think they're at a museum or something. Where are they fighting? They're, like, some weird public outdoor presentation space. It looks kind of like... There's a bunch of benches. I don't know what the F is this. It's not a park. It's like a coliseum if there were benches in the center. Oh, this lady has like intense wing sonic beam things. Oh, that's so smart. She has to use the microphone. It shot her. That's amazing. It shot her attack through a speaker. So it destroyed the microphone, but came back through the speaker, amplified, and hit her. That's so smart, Serena. Get her with this tiara, you go, girl. Also a note, I think most people know this, but I think there's supposed to be something different about the first time she uses the tiara and the rest of the times. I'm gonna have to compare later. This lady looked funny when she got dusted. Oh, Molly/Naru is sad because she liked the guy and he got married to his lady. But I mean, girl, you're like 13 and he's an adult. Leave him alone. Oh, he put Sailor Moon on the cover of his album. That's so adorable. This episode was, I actually liked, kind of. I think it was cute. And I have to say the battle was good. And I think getting to see Usagi act more between... It was between her, Luna, and just strategy. And she even sort of interacted with the guy she was helping. So it was kind of this makeshift little team before the scouts arrive. I thought that was so cool. If you guys are wanting to watch this episode, I watched it on Hulu, and I watched the Viz dub, which is the new one, and they have both the dub and the subbed version on Hulu right now. I think it's worth it personally. If you also don't have Hulu / prefer something more permanent or tangible, I believe this version of the dub has been out on DVD / Blu-ray for quite a while. But I will warn you, I was reading some of the reviews for them on Amazon, and it looks like the video quality may be a little lacking on some of those releases / they split the seasons up into 2 parts for the release, which good and bad. In going ahead, we shouldn't do stuff like that because it's more plastic, right? They already did it, so it's already out there. That's just more cute stuff to to look at for me. But then also, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't want to pay twice for one season when almost everything now is sold as almost a show bundle, let alone a single season, I would imagine they're going to put out, if they're smart, a full series set when it's done. And then that hopefully will be really high quality. That would be the move, I think. But I actually don't have any of this yet as far on DVD, Blu-ray. So I'll look out for some of those. Maybe I can find a deal and I'll test it myself and let y'all know how good it is. Back to this episode, though, there's not a whole ton more to say about it. I think a cute lesson we can get out of watching this now is that it's fine to have stuff like this in a cartoon / Japanese anime show, as long as the parents at home are kind of doing their due diligence and they're teaching the kids, like, hey, don't get into cars. Don't copy the stuff you're seeing on TV. And that, some people listening are probably like, yeah, duh, of course everyone's doing that. You think that? No, they're not. As an educator who has encountered all types of families, I'll say it that way, it's amazing what people will decide is acceptable for their kid versus what is not, and it's typically rarely has anything to do with logic. So I think we're going to wrap up the watch through there. Next week, we are officially getting back on the VHS tapes, which is exciting for me. It is the last one on the first VHS tape, finally, because we have these cut episodes. So after 6 episodes of the podcast, we are moving on to VHS 2, which will be, so it'll be episode 8. Will be VHS 2, so we got one more, but that's okay. And if you haven't caught on yet, I have been adding the title cards and the Sailor Says of these episodes to our YouTube channel, so you can check those out there if you want to see them and hear them in high quality. To me, that is always one of the most iconic parts of the show, so I wanted you guys to have access to it. And rather than, throw them all out there at once, we're going to sort of release them as we go with the podcast. So when we finish this tape, all of the episodes that were on the tape should be on the YouTube, and then et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that's it. All right. Peace.
Stay tuned after this short break for the rest of our interview with Chris Mayek.
Welcome back to Moonstar, a Sailor Moon podcast.
Speaking of that genre in general, Sailor Moon, we know, isn't technically the first magical girl, but it is kind of the standard for that
definitive
genre. Yeah. What for you, if you had to choose something, would be your second to Sailor Moon?
Honestly, I guess probably Magic Users Club. I mean, not enough people know about it, but and not just because of Ito. I mean, it's a really lovely story, and it's a really great coming of age story. It's only the original series was just an OVA. It was 6 episodes. It's very lovely. It has really great LGBT representation for one of the main male characters. I would, highly recommend anybody go check out Magic Users Club, especially if you like Sailor Moon and you like Ikuko Ito's art style, because it's the OVA was done in 1996, so it was when she was at her peak. And
okay.
It's fantastic.
Do you know off the top of your head
what streaming platforms people could find that on, maybe, if that's possible?
Yeah. Well, I do know for sure that it's on YouTube for free in both English and Japanese by the channel Nozomi Entertainment that re-released it when it got its first release in the early 2000s, and then they re-released it. They have it all on their YouTube channel for free in both languages.
Awesome. That's definitely something I think I might take a look at. And I started putting at the end of each episode anime music video spotlights, but I think for this week I'm going to put the intro song for that so people can just hear it. Has I'm assuming like your typical anime intro, right?
Yeah.
For now, you said it has different is there different incarnations of it? Like did they remake it?
It started with an OVA, a 6-episode OVA, and then in 1999 it had a 12-episode TV series. It was still done by all the same team. But yeah, that's the two animated versions it has.
Okay, so it sounds like it's like easily consumable. There's not a ton of episodes, but it's high quality content, which I think is great, especially now when people are just moving faster these days, doing more stuff. We don't all have the 200 episode time, like to sit through all of the character building as much as I love it. So I would definitely say if anyone's listening and they want to check that out, say the name of it one more time for us.
It's called Magic Users Club.
Magic Users Club, and watch it for free on YouTube. Free is the best. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start wrapping up here, I think.
Okay.
Was there anything... First, I wanted to ask you, I think you have... Oh, sorry. I wanted to ask you more about your interviews real quick.
Sure.
When you were building your business, right? The YouTube channel, and I'm assuming you have other forms of social media. What was the first big lesson you learned in that kind of world? So that business of social media.
Well, even way before this, I don't know. I'm fine talking about it. It's just kind of embarrassing and silly. But when I was in high school, I was I guess like Instagram famous when that was a thing, and I don't know. That just kind of gets you, especially if you go through that in high school. It just gets you used to dealing with what the nice and not so nice interactions with people on the internet can be, and just learning not to take that personally. And I think that it kind of ties into what we were talking about at the beginning a little bit, but I just think going through all that weird thing when I was in high school kind of sort of helped me when I started doing this 2 years ago. I mean, fortunately, I haven't really gotten any, vitriol or nasty hate comments. But I think if anybody who goes through being viral on social media in some degree when you're young, and then you do something involving all that realm when you're an adult, I think you're just already prepared to deal with the negatives and positives and how insane it can be sometimes. So I guess that's a good thing to point out.
I think that's a great lesson. And I think that something I wish we had more generational, like intergenerational conversations about, meaning I'm in my 30s, you're in your early 20s. And even for people my age, yes, we had the internet back then, but people were not viral famous the way they are now. Right. So, and there was no training for how to use the internet. There was no guidelines on what is and isn't dangerous. And the internet has become this sort of monster that went out of control. Yeah. And I'm sure as you noticed too, in this world, at least in America, once you give a certain thing to the public, it's very difficult to limit it or take it away or control it, whatever it is. And even though I think now we're all starting to see how dangerous and a completely unregulated internet can kind of be, like with cancel culture, when you have, like you said, you went through becoming viral famous when you were in high school. So at a young age, you got to, I'm sure that was very weird. And like, it probably, I would imagine that would make me feel a little vulnerable having that many eyes on me at that age, you know, because you're figuring out life and you're supposed to make mistakes at that age. And now most of your mistakes are online forever. And so what would you say to people who are older, like my age and up, where we don't have that experience from a young age of learning how to just identify when you should not be interacting with someone on the internet quickly, and B, how do you protect yourself and learn how to just let all of this, like you said, don't take any of it personally? Because the generation now, you guys get this training almost built into life, and there's a lot of people who are older who don't know what to do and have no tools. So what are some tools I guess you could give for dealing with that kind of thing?
Well, a big thing I've learned, especially since I've been doing interviews and the few negative experiences I've had, is if someone's just being nasty or, you know, judging you for, they're trying to put stuff out about you that isn't true or whatever, you know, just depending on what it is or how far they're taking it. But in most cases, just, you know, be polite about it, especially if you're responding publicly for everyone to see, you know, be polite and serious, but, you know, don't stoop to anyone's level, and just make sure that, you know, all your social medias, if you want them to be, if you make sure that your settings are private for, you know, just your friends or your followers, don't have it be public. Just make sure that you shut anything down as soon as it's getting crazy, if you're getting harassment or anything like that. And really the main scenario where I got a lot of that, it was out of my control, but it was one of the it wasn't a voice actor, but an actress that I did. She was famous in the 80s, and she ended up passing away like a few months after I interviewed her last year. Tawny Katane. I got after she died, my interview with her just got a lot of eyes on it, and I was just dealing with a bunch of crap from people, you know, accusing her of being on coke in my interview, and just wild things. Yeah. So I didn't take any of that. You know, I didn't really let that bother me, even considering what was going on. But yeah, the biggest thing is just that you have to shut things down in a polite way, and just not let anyone walk over you or, you know, do things that are bad like that.
I think something you just said too, not let anyone walk over you on the internet. I just want to highlight that for some listeners, especially because I have students who talk about getting cyberbullied sometimes.
Yeah.
People on the internet talk very big because they are sitting in the, you know, comfort of their own home. They feel safe to say whatever they want, and they feel like there's no way you can identify them, right? So they can say whatever they want to you, but that doesn't make it true. That doesn't mean they can actually do anything to you. You know, and I think that for some people, they're really good at recognizing, oh, this is just posturing or whatever. But for some other people who are either younger or just more literal people or just more sensitive, they might see that and get really scared of the world because people say really crazy things online. But I think it's important to note, and I think you might agree with this having gone viral, largely people don't want to go to jail. So they might say crazy stuff to you, but unless you're starting to see people like showing up at your front door or you're getting weird stuff in the mail, don't let it stop you from living your life and doing the stuff you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about today while I still have you?
Yeah, I just have a something that you and other people would appreciate. I haven't really been able to tell this story virtually yet, but just some of the stories of how I got the stuff that I showed you, because it's pretty interesting. the first one that I showed you from the tea ceremony set of all of them together. I had always wanted something specifically of Haruka and Michiru in kimonos from that episode, because something about, I mean, you have it done by Ito already, and then you have them in traditional Japanese clothing. That just made me go insane. It's like I need to have this if it's around. So when I got connected to the Japanese seller, Naoki, who I'm super thankful for, I went through the list of episode numbers that Ito did, and I'm like, hey, do you have any Genga sketch cuts from these episodes? And then he sent me photos of everything, and then I was freaking out when I saw the photo of the set from that episode. I couldn't wait to get it, and I was even more shocked when he let me have it for such an incredible price in today's market. Because I like I mentioned that was one of my big wish list things, was a production art of Haruka and Michiru from that episode specifically. So that's that one, and then the sets of the other girls from episode 159. That's the episode where they all are trying to figure out who Chibiusa's secret boyfriend is, when she's secretly talking about, or she's really talking about Pegasus, but she can't tell anybody about it.
Right.
Those were all from the same store, downtown Tokyo. I've never actually physically been there, but three of those I got online, because they sell things online too on Yahoo Japan. I won those on auction, but the last one, I did have one of Minako too, which I don't know why I sold it, because especially now that I would have all four. A friend actually got Minako's for me when he was visiting Japan, because for some reason the seller never put that one online. So at the time, if my friend hadn't gone there, was in Japan at the time, I would have never been able to have completed all four cuts of the Inner Scouts from that episode. So those are the interesting stories about how I got those ones that I showed you.
I love that. And I love that you brought up Haruka and Michiru in the kimono art specifically, because that episode, and then I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when they go to the festival and Sailor Chibi Moon first comes back. Though when I think of Sailor Moon S, I think of those two episodes like iconic art in my mind, because sometimes in Sailor Moon you get a little stuck in the formula of the monster of the day thing, but we actually got to see, at least for us in America, authentic Japanese traditions animated beautifully. And for a lot of us, that's our first exposure to that. I had the way they do the goldfish catching game in that episode. I had never seen that before. I saw that episode, and we in America, for if anyone's listening from somewhere else, we throw ping pong balls at a bowl at the fair. It is not at all the same. We don't, it's not magical like that. It's so hokey pokey compared to the way they do things there. So I think it's so cool that you picked that very specific thing to look for, and I think it's even cooler that you got it. If you had to choose a scene from all of Sailor Moon to get the actual cell from, your dream cell, have you thought about that?
Yeah.
What
I don't think I'll ever see it, but a number one would probably be just some a nice cell from the Oak Evolution attack sequence. There's never been that anyone has ever seen. Only the sketches to it.
So you're saying that in the history of eBay, that's never shown up once or anywhere?
Not just eBay, just anywhere, in the Japanese outlets for looking for cells. No one's ever seen anything.
That's a good thing you just actually. So for anyone who might want to start collecting cells, or who already does, obviously in America we can check eBay, maybe Mercari and Etsy, but I doubt they're the best places. for someone who really knows their stuff, what are the best places on the internet to go for authentic cells? And what's the other stuff? The sketch sets?
Yep.
Yeah, where would we go for that?
Well, Yahoo Japan is a great outlet that production artwork from anime continually comes up on every single day. You just need, for buying anything on Yahoo Japan, you just need a third-party proxy service if you're outside of the country to bid or buy anything on there. There's a bunch of them that you can use. I use From Japan. That's the best one in my mind. They're affordable, and the packaging and shipping is reasonable, and their fees aren't too bad at all.
For anyone who gets scared of words they don't know, what is a proxy service, like a third-party proxy service?
Yeah, there's a number of different companies that serve as like middleman services, basically, to help people. They're all based in Japan, but they all speak English, and the companies and people who work for them and everything, and they help people who can't buy things locally in Japan. They help people get them and then ship them internationally. So that's what proxy services are.
Okay, that's good to know then. And you said, so we have Yahoo Japan. What are some of the other options?
Another good one that I've gotten a lot of my stuff from is different retired collectors. There's the primary hosting website for people with anime production cell galleries specifically is a site called Rubber Slug. Rubberslug.com. Yep.
Okay. Rubber Slug is like, that's in my head. I'm seeing Ron Weasley puking up slugs now. But so Rubber Slug is a good one. Are there any other ones?
Besides those, I would say Mandarake, which is kind of like Yahoo Japan. It's kind of, it's really similar to Yahoo Japan, but Mandarake is a long-running hobby store chain that they have different stores within Tokyo and other regions of Japan, and they will very often list cells and sketches on auction or to be purchased there. But so those are the three that I would recommend outside of, eBay has some, you can find some good stuff on eBay sometimes, but those are the three that I would recommend people check. Okay.
And I had a thought about it and it just left my mind because someone pulled up outside on a motorcycle and I'm like,
no problem.
It's so loud. I was going to ask you something about, the last one. Can you spell the last one for us?
Yeah, I'll type it in there we go.
Where is that? Mandarake, Mandarake. Okay, Mandarake. So that's, in addition to eBay, people can look at those other three places for anime sales. I'm assuming it's also a great place if you're looking for something like Japanese import collectibles of any kind, right? VHS tapes, figurines, whatever.
Yeah, well, Mandarake and Yahoo Japan, yeah, but Rubber Slug is just all about production artwork.
Okay, so Rubber Slug is specific to the cell sketch sets. Are there any other production artwork collectibles that you're interested in or we might not know about?
It's pretty much just all stuff. Yeah, the cells or production artwork. I have other like collecting hobbies, but that's the only thing that I'm focused on in that aspect.
Awesome. All right, so we've been talking for about an hour. I love that I got to do this interview. I really appreciate you reaching out to me. You're my first official interview, so you snagged that spot in my career. And hopefully, we can keep in touch through email sometimes. I would love to have you back occasionally if you're interested in doing a recurring thing.
Yeah.
And I want to close out with some random Sailor Moon questions. So this is not too deep. I just want whatever comes to your mind, tell me your answer. I want you to pick your top 2 strongest scouts, not your top 2 favorite, and you can't say Sailor Saturn.
Okay. Uranus and Pluto, I guess I would say.
Okay, and then who would your top two favorites be?
Definitely number one is Uranus. Number two, kind of varies, but Jupiter.
Jupiter. Okay, so what I'm getting from that is you like strong, self-independent people who are not afraid to kind of let their emotions show freely. That's what that says to me. I don't know if that's true, but why do you think you like specifically Sailor Uranus so much?
Well, I'm I'm gay, and that was definitely there were a number of anime and relationships, LGBT relationships in anime growing up that I saw that really helped me cement that and realize that I wasn't interested in women. But that was just, that's a big reason why I love Haruka and Michiru so much. And even seeing that as a kid and knowing that they weren't, related in the original English dub, and just being there, they were so cool and confident in their relationship, and later on after that, Fisheye was even more obvious and helping me in that aspect. But that was why a big reason why I like Haruka so much, is because she's so confident in that regard, and being herself, and just being I've always just thought that her and Michiru were just some of the coolest characters in anime that I've ever seen.
I have to agree with that. You can tell more from my. You got blessed with what I call a passing voice. Mine give it away, but I'm gay too, and I've always loved that pairing of Michiru and Haruka. And for me, I've always gravitated more to Neptune. Just she's
Okay.
I'm a violinist. We're both water signs, kind of fluidity. But what you're saying, I absolutely connected to that too, where I think Naoko captured the essence of people who were gay back in that time, who had to go through hell to get where they were, and learn not to give a shit about what anyone thinks, because they know they're not what everyone tells them they are, right? Evil, whatever, words were thrown back around at people back then. And I actually think it's so important that they were changed to cousins in the Deke dub, because that is the actual reality of what most gay people were living in the 90s. You couldn't tell people that you were gay because you could end up dead or whatever. There's worse things that people, and they had to often say, this is my cousin, this is my brother, this is my roommate, And I think if we go ahead and kind of don't look at these old pieces of media and see that freeze frame of what the time was really like, then we forget about that and we forget those struggles. And that is important that we don't, So I absolutely love that answer.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, then I'm going to have to do this too. I'm sorry. Sailor Uranus in a one-on-one battle versus... I have to choose somebody, and you have to tell me who would win and why. Sailor Pluto. Who do you think would win between the two?
Well, I think, Pluto can win against anybody because she can control time.
But remember, she dies if she stops time, right?
Yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting. I don't know. I guess it's hard, but I think maybe I don't even know, but maybe Pluto's attacks in general are stronger than Uranus. I guess it's hard to say.
It's a tough one because they're very equal in when you think power level. In my mind, though, I'm going back to if you are a Pokemon fan, Pikachu versus Raichu with the Lieutenant Surge battle. Do you know what I'm saying? And the agility to win. I could totally see Uranus pulling something off like that. Okay, interesting. All right, my last question for you then today is, what is your personal favorite version of Sailor Moon to consume? Meaning Deke dub, Japanese, new dub, manga, whatever. What's your favorite go-to?
Probably it's always, I think, been the original Japanese. There's just so many scenes that have, I mean, I've seen them over and over again where like it doesn't matter. I'll still get emotional, like my eyes will still get wet, and the performances in the Japanese are just incredible. Like a main one that always gets me is the episode 125, the climax of 125, when Sailor Moon, basically gives her soul essence and risks dying to save Saturn, and just Kotono Mitsuishi's performance in that, and the music and everything, just it always gets me. So yeah, I think it'll always be the original Japanese for me.
I have to say, I know exactly what you're talking about. And even though I'm doing my podcast starting out with the deep dub, I love most of the incarnations of it, but I never watch the deep dub version of the last two episodes of season 1, because you cannot compare to the Japanese with just from, first of all, they cut out so much and they completely changed the tone of it to where they don't die in the deep dub. They're just like, they're winning. And it sounds like they're beating them, right? And then in the Japanese one, when you watch it, all of them die. And the whole lesson is that even though they are all gone and they gave their lives to protect her, she can still draw on their friendship after that and everything, right?
Yeah.
And you can't, not like, as much love as I have for the deep dub, I always watch the Japanese version for that part, because I feel like it's like disrespectful what they did to it a little bit, just a touch,
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to say thank you so much for your time. I know you're super busy, you've got a lot going on, and I am just starting out, so I cannot thank you enough for doing this. I hope we get to hear from you again, and I want to give you a chance now. Plug whatever you want. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, I love coming on here. You were great to talk to, and I would love to come back on. It was nice to finally talk to someone about some of the stuff that we talked about, because there's not really a whole lot of people that do Sailor Moon podcasts or shows that cover especially the cell and animator names, and people don't really cover that or know about it in general. But anyway, my YouTube is just my name. It's just Chris Mayek. My cell gallery or anime production art gallery is Moonlight Cells, all one word, .rubberslug.com. My anime Instagram is Moonlight on Violets, all one word. And that's all my main ones that I use.
Awesome. So Chris Mayek, that is Chris, you know how to spell that, Mayek on YouTube. Sunshine Farm Collectibles, our YouTube channel, already subscribe to him. If you have trouble finding him, you can find his YouTube through there, but he has more subscribers than we do, so you should probably have no issue if you just search his name. And check out all of the cool stuff he's doing right now. I'm excited to see where your career goes, because I love niche entertainment that focuses on like the smaller details, the behind the scenes, kind of pulling back the curtain. And I think that's exactly what you're doing with your interviews and all of the stuff that you're collecting. So I love to see that. Also, just a stupid old people thing to young people, but it's really cool seeing that Sailor Moon still has this much of an influence this many years later, and that young, especially LGBT people, are getting the messages of empowerment that were lit. That's why they're put in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are a great example of why we fought for all of the stuff we fought for. And I hope that some gay people who are listening, LGBT, wherever you are in that spectrum, I hope you hear this and you appreciate it for what it is, because we couldn't do any of this stuff today if it weren't for people like Naoko Takeuchi. I hate saying her last name because I always say it wrong, but they put us in their media before it was safe to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm paying respect to Sailor Moon. And I'm sure, like, you, from your story about Sailor Uranus, you have similar feelings. So thank you again. I'm going to hop off the call here, and the episode should be out Monday. So keep a lookout for it.
Okay, great. Thanks. This was lovely.
Definitely. And we'll talk again. Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed our first official interview. Chris, consider yourself a friend of the show. Now, to close out today's episode, please enjoy the following presentation. Sailor Moon Another Story, the series. Episode 2, Girl Talk.
Where am I?
Master?
That voice. Coincide.
Master? Destiny draws near. A dark comet is approaching from an evil star, to return destiny to its origins. It's a terrifying presence that holds the power to revert everything, in the present, in the future, and in the past. It is creating an existence, in which all will be returned, to what it has been.
What? Reverting destiny? When will this happen?
It comes from the distant future.
What can we do about it now?
You will decide the future.
Wait. Coincide. Was that a dream? But the future rests on me. The Four Kings case is glimmering.
Hey everyone, listen up. We've got a serious problem. Something's going on. I fought a diamond.
What? Were the Deathbusters brought back somehow?
Usagi, are you sure you're not still half asleep?
Oh Ray, you're picking on me again. Emmy believes me, right? Huh? Where is Emmy?
Sorry, I came as fast as I could. I just got off the phone with Ryu.
Let's talk about it inside.
It's been a long time since you last saw Rio, huh?
Yes, he's here in Tokyo for the holidays.
So where have you decided to go with him?
Well, there are some national exams coming up. So, you see.
See what?
I thought we'd go to the library.
Who? You want to go to the library with him?
Oh really? Amy, you could whisper it to me if you want.
Ah, sneaky Marco.
So what are the date plans for afterward?
Huh? It's not like that. We can't date. We're all still in middle school. But, I haven't seen him in a while, so,
I knew it. Tell us more, come on.
Hi. Looks like I'm struggling again. What's wrong, Amy? Your face is all red.
Huh? Amy's got a boyfriend, and he's coming here soon.
Please don't Morco. It isn't like that with Rio.
Hello ladies. How are you? You know Ray, you look better than ever today.
Thank you, Yuichiro.
Take it easy, everyone.
Why are you taking that tone?
'Cause of Yuichiro's little compliment. You two are super close, right?
It's nothing.
Really?
Really, it's nothing. Well, Usagi, how's your love life?
Huh? Mine? You know Momo and I are the perfect couple. It's a miracle romance. We've even kissed already. I can't believe I blurted it all out.
Yeah, me neither.
Even so, I'm still jealous.
True. Usagi's with Mamoru. Amy and Rio might be long distance, but they're together.
And it doesn't matter what Rei says, she's got Yuichiro.
I want a boyfriend too.
Me too.
Hey Amy, when does Rio's train come in?
Oh, that's right. I have to head out now, everyone. Goodbye.
Hey, do you wanna follow her?
Huh. That's kinda shifty.
But I really wanna go see.
Well, wait a second, everyone.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Huh? Meiko, aren't you coming?
Hump, stand firm Mikoto, stand firm.
You're actually curious, aren't you?
Okay, yeah, but just this once.
To support Moonstar, a Sailor Moon podcast, you can
subscribe to Moonstar, and leave a 5-star review wherever you listen. Subscribe to our creator and sponsor, Sunshine Farm Collectibles. You can find us FC on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Just search Sunshine Farm Collectibles, and you'll find us. Donate by going to www.sunshinefarmcollectibles.com and clicking the donation button. Most importantly, keep on listening. Now, let's transform.